Hi guys. The reason I decided to make this video today is because number one, I'm off because it's my birthday and I never have off of work. I work 7 days a week and I would love to do this full time. But in any case, here I am. I wanted to talk about the Illuminati families raising each other's children. Okay. I'm going to try to keep it short because I tend to talk a lot. And I want to start out with the woman who was a whistleblower, was in the Illuminati family. She was a German woman. Her name was Folly. And she said that basically if they have a child that they want to infiltrate in Hollywood, for the brainwash that they've all subjected us to. They might say one Illuminati family might have a baby and say, okay, well, we're going to raise this child to be an actor or an actress, and that's the training that they're going to receive. And so they might put that baby to be raised by a Hollywood movie director. Okay? Understand. Sometimes the mother will be the biological mother, and they'll use the sperm of another male from another Illuminati family, because I don't get it. I know you guys don't get it. It's sick and twisted. A lot of people poo-poo it, like a lot of this information, because they feel like, who would give their baby up to be raised by someone else? Well, here's a news flash for you. These people, they're aliens, literally. They don't have what we have in us as far as empathy and compassion, and they just don't have it. They're cold. And it's just like, okay, here you go, giving my baby off because it's going to be famous. And that those parents may actually still have some type of role in that child's life. So what Svali said was, getting back to her, the reason I wanted to tell you guys why I really wanted to make this video is because a lot of people who are being red-pilled right now don't really have much access to this information any longer, because YouTube and places like that have been scrubbed by the Luciferian pedophiles, the mainstream Mockingbird media, and on and on and on. You guys know the deal. And so I just wanted to touch on that. And also because a lot of people don't talk about this much, but it makes a lot of sense if you understand what's happening. And the topic of Barack Obama came up. So I want to get to that in a little bit too. So the girl Svali, when she was very little, she was about 2 years old, she said that she was put in a room by herself, and she was shown a pitcher of water. She got very thirsty because they left her in there for a really long time. She got very thirsty, and I believe she asked, Mama, can I have some water? They brought her a pitcher of water, and they just let her look at it. And every time she tried to reach for it, she was slapped. Okay, and this went on for a while. I think she was slapped maybe three times. And then her mother came in and drank the water in front of her. And she just didn't say anything after that. She got very quiet, and she just accepted it. She wasn't going to get this water, and she wasn't going to ask anymore. And she just had all the control in the world at a very young age. It was then and only then that she was given the water. Okay. This is what they do to their own children. Okay? Understand. This is the training that all of their children go through. Some of them, MK Ultra, raped and tortured, for sure, because this produces multiple personality disorder, which we'll get back to in a moment. So anyway, because she showed promise in maintaining her control at such a young age, when she got older, she was given a job in the government in the MK Ultra program. And she basically is an Illuminati defector. I don't even know if this woman's still alive, to be honest with you. I didn't hear of her death. This was a long time ago that she came out. But basically, she said that, you know, they're so infiltrated everywhere. They were even in the Christian school that her children went to. So they're everywhere, these people. They're like poison. And anyway, the other person that spoke about, and she spoke about this, about how they raise each other's children, the names are changed, you know, and the other whistleblower that spoke about this, which a lot of people don't give credit to, and I do, is Johnny Todd. Now, we know, for instance, Johnny Todd had multiple personality disorder. And here's the thing. People discredited him because he would have this other raging personality that was like demonic after he was preaching, you know, Jesus, and because he became a Christian. He was of the Collins family, which is the most satanic, dark magic, Luciferian family like they are. They were responsible for bringing witchcraft to this country. So he had a different last name, obviously, and the name was changed, but he was a Collins. He was also raised by another woman. And the crazy part about it is he knew who his biological mother was and was actually in contact with her. But he was raised by a completely different family. So, now, discrediting him because he had multiple personality disorder doesn't make any sense, because actually they all have multiple personality, not all of them, but the ones that go through that harsh training have multiple personality disorder. So that, to me, gives him more credibility, because that means he went through the training. Anyway, so again, getting back to my main point. So here we have one family, they have a baby. They, again, decide that this baby should be raised in government. They want him to be president or a governor, and so he gets raised by someone that's already in politics in the Illuminati family. So it's very simple. This isn't hard stuff. Again, they have no problem giving their kids up. And also, again, remember, you might have a mother who's the biological mother, or a father that's the biological father, but then you don't have a biological mother or raising the child. That's how it goes. Again, perfectly normal for these people. They're not like us. And that's where you have to think like them to understand this. This is all they know. This is how they are raised. They very rarely let outsiders in. And so on and so forth. Okay? So understand what's happening. This is why, again, Hillary Clinton, David Rockefeller's daughter. Hitler was a Rothschild. Aleister Crowley is the father of Barbara Bush. I can go on and on and on. Justin Trudeau, Fidel Castro, that's his son, of course, was not raised by him, and looks exactly like him. I mean, in many cases, it's pretty apparent by looking at them that this is your child. Definitely in the case of Barbara Bush, for sure. Justin Trudeau is Fidel Castro's twin, for sure. Like, they're identical. And so now you have some kind of an idea what they do to their children. They put their children through this awful, horrid, rigorous training that anal rape and torture, so that the personality splits in the theta state, which again, every child is in the theta state from the time they are born till they're about 7 years old. So then they're taking everything in, and this is why the personality splits, because their little fragile minds are not able to handle what's happening. And so they have to create other personalities to, basically what multiple personality disorder is. And another thing I want to bring up about multiples is I noticed when I was in college, and I studied psychology, multiple personality disorder was just accepted as the norm, that it was just, part of my teaching. And it was all of a sudden, I noticed as the years went on, they started to bring in all these different doctors, these psychologists, to say that it wasn't real, that there was no such thing. If you guys remember Three Faces of Eve or Sybil, I'm going way back. I'm old, 53 today. So if you remember those, that's real. They were real people. And, how is it all of a sudden not a thing? How is it discredited out of nowhere with some lame theory as to why multiple? Because I really think that when this information started to come out about MK Ultra and the other child programming, they wanted to cover their asses. That's what I came up with anyway. So I have to say that this has been quite the journey, and I wanted to make this video to help out anybody that just wants to understand them. This is only one of the aspects. I will be making more videos if I'm quarantined with one of my jobs. So far, my jobs are considered essential, and so I am not at home. But ultimately, guys, this stuff is, I'm going to say it, really unimportant. But if you're a beginner, I can understand why you would want to understand some of this stuff, which is why I made the video. What do I mean by unimportant? It means that your own healing, you're healing your own trauma and your ancestral trauma, integrating your higher self through prayer, meditation, other spiritual practices. I'm a Reiki practitioner, so self-treatment. I've gotten away from a lot of this myself just because I work so much and I'm exhausted. I'm mentally and physically exhausted. So this would be what you should be working on right now. And if you want to understand this and you're a beginner and you're just waking up now, then I will be making future videos. My computer is in my daughter's room, as you can see. Nothing fancy going on here. Oh, so very quickly, I completely forgot. One of the main things I wanted to talk about was Barack Obama. So, for one, Barack Obama was actually created in a lab, like a test tube baby, in a petri dish. And that woman who raised him, or her parents really raised him, honestly, was not his mother. That's first. And secondly, I don't even know if his father was his father. Everyone got caught up in the whole, he was born in another country, he was born in Kenya, his father. I think that, believe it or not, a lot of that was created. And the fact that his father was from another country, and I believe a Muslim, was partly to push the agenda that they wanted him to push. Now, understand he was groomed to be president, okay, his whole life, from the time he was probably in that petri dish, if you can believe that. And, you know, these people, they have plans. They have 30-year plans, 100-year plans to destroy us, okay? And this was all planned out. Basically, being raised by that woman was his training. Being raised, now I know Andrew Bishago, who was also, by the way, which is not talked about, everyone knows him as the time travel guy, Project Pegasus. He is also from an Illuminati family. Now, understand that not all of these families practice dark magic. Not all of them do, okay? But in any event, Bishago went through training with Barack Obama, was in some classes with him. If you believe it, and I do, went to another planet with him. I believe Mars. And Corey Goode spoke about this, and so did David Wilcock. When Barack Obama was sworn in, okay, and I do believe that he was completely unaware, because I guarantee you, for one, he's probably has multiple, not probably, I'm going to say he does have multiple personality disorder. Everyone says, oh, he was cloned, this and that, afterwards, because he wouldn't comply. I don't know. He does seem to act one way and then a different way, but I do know for sure that Bush sat him down and said, basically, you're nothing, you're nobody, you're just a puppet, you're going to do what we tell you to do. And his background and makeup and his father's religion, okay, not saying a word against any religion. It was all part of a particular agenda that they needed to push. Understand? Okay? That was all part of it. But he was told by Bush that either you comply or we are going to rape and torture your daughters right in front of you. Of course, they're not actually his daughters, by the way. Again, this is another example of children being passed around within the families. Barack Obama's daughters. If you've ever seen their best friends, those kids are a dead ringer for those two people. They look exactly like them. And you'll see that they look nothing like those two in comparison to the people who are really their parents. So, but, you know, he raised them. I don't believe that he was inherently a bad guy. I just think it was just a product of being raised in these insane, and they are insane. These people are sick is an understatement. In these insane families. I voted for him, and I do believe that he had every intention of being a good president. And, you know, of course, there was a whole nother agenda waiting for him. I hear that he tried to get out. I heard he tried to be a disclosure president, which Trump is now. Speaking of that, I just want to touch on that a bit. There are two polar opposite Illuminati groups. One practices dark magic, evil, pedophiles, torture, murder, rape children, sex traffic children, unspeakable stuff. Okay? Want to control us in every aspect, yada, yada, yada. And there's another one that's part, now kind of part of the alliance, which is trying to do good, make things right. I do believe that. And I think that Trump is probably a part of that too, on the good side. And I believe from what I've been told from my friend Jermaine Chavis, who was the guy I spoke about earlier, who we originally got into this topic on his live. He does a lot of Facebook lives. You guys might know him. He's great, great information. He was saying that the basically those people on that other side of the fence are the part that don't practice the dark magic. But a lot of them in the alliance have done some pretty terrible things as well. But they supposedly, they're atoning and they want to make it right. But they want to give us that trickle disclosure, and we want the full-on disclosure. Anyway, I support Trump no matter what, because I think it's a ginormous task that he's taken on to take these evil people down. I mean, let's face it. If you think for a second that Kennedy wasn't in the Illuminati, you better think again. He was. Okay? Now, what happened? He wouldn't go along with the program. He wanted out. He spoke about the hidden secret societies and died 7 days later. Okay, so Kennedy was a defector too. Probably, more than likely, his family wasn't, even though they did some really evil shit. As we know, the Kennedys are not squeaky clean. Probably did not practice dark magic, his family, at that point. Because I think what happened was, down the line, these families kept the dark magic stuff going, and then there were other families who just said, no, no. And don't get me wrong, I'm not picking up for them in any way, shape, or form. But Kennedy was, whatever you want to call him, a defector. And he wanted out. He wanted to expose these people. And so did Reagan. You see what happened to those two. Kennedy's dead. Reagan got shot, had to keep his mouth shut. And Eisenhower. Eisenhower spoke about them as well. I mean, he didn't even realize that there were people that had higher clearance than he did until he became president. And Val Valiant Thor came into the picture, and all that stuff happened. But that's another story for another day. And anyway, so you guys understand a little bit more about Barack Obama, I hope. I know you guys love to hate him. And I totally get it, because, hey, if you look at my post and you read my Twitter feed, I love to hate Hillary Clinton. Oh, goodness. Yeah, I mean, I'm a human being, and she triggers me like nobody's business. So I get it. But understand that there's things going on that were beyond his control. Her, on the other hand, I'm not going to cut her so much slack. I'm still, my ego's still stuck to that a little bit, Still don't want to let that go totally. Still waiting for her to get arrested. I don't know. So, maybe she is already. I doubt it, but hopefully soon. Because let's face it, we still want these people to face justice. And at the end of the day, even if I let those hateful feelings go, we all deserve justice. And those children that she murdered, they deserve justice. Forget about treason. I can give two shits about treason. Because you know why? Because pedophilia and child rape and sacrifice and torture, that takes precedence for me over treason. So understand that, as my friend Jermaine Chavis would say. Okay, guys, I talked enough, and I hope that I can get this video out today, get it edited. I'm going to need my daughter's skills for that, because I'm a newbie at this. And you guys take care and have a great day. Bye.